They say success has many fathers: talent, luck, intelligence, timing. But when you strip away the myths, when you silence the noise of excuses, you will find only one truth standing tall at the summit: discipline. Not genius, not privilege, not a fleeting burst of motivation, but the quiet, relentless fire of self-control that refuses to die, even when the world grows dark, even when no one is watching. Discipline is the language of kings and creators. It is the invisible architecture beneath every fortune, every empire, every invention that changed the world. Edison did not stumble upon the light bulb by inspiration alone. He burned through 10,000 failures, one deliberate choice at a time, driven not by excitement but by discipline, that sacred force which separates those who dream from those who build. Most people crave success the way a starving man craves food. But the rich, the truly rich, crave discipline. They know it is the ultimate currency, the one investment that multiplies without the permission of luck or chance. Discipline builds habits. Habits build consistency, and consistency builds empires. The world glorifies outcomes: the mansion, the car, the bank account. But none of these are born from desire alone. They are the harvest of thousands of invisible mornings, where someone chose effort over comfort, purpose over pleasure, progress over pride. Discipline is the silent contract you sign with your future self. It asks no applause, but delivers every reward. It is the bridge between thought and reality, between potential and power. Look at the greats: Carnegie, Rockefeller, Ford, Gates, Jobs. Every one of them was driven by something beyond talent, a willingness to repeat the mundane, to master the monotonous, to sharpen their will until it became a weapon. They trained their minds to obey their purpose. They built rituals that turned chaos into rhythm. And when the rest of the world was sleeping, they were building. Because the rich understand something most people never learn. Discipline is not punishment. It is freedom. Freedom from distraction. Freedom from regret. Freedom from the chains of mediocrity that bind the undisciplined. The weak follow feelings. The strong follow principles. The poor react. The rich plan. And in the silence of early mornings, when no one is watching, discipline whispers to those who listen, "You are becoming what others only pretend to be." Discipline begins not in the hands but in the mind. It is forged in thought before it is expressed in action. Before any great empire was built in stone, it was first constructed in silence, in the imagination of a disciplined mind. You cannot command your world until you command your thoughts. You cannot direct your destiny until you master your moods. The undisciplined mind is like a wild horse, powerful, yes, but directionless, destructive, dangerous. It runs toward distraction, pulled by every new pleasure, every tiny comfort. But the disciplined mind is a tamed force, focused, fearless, deliberate. It knows that progress is not made in bursts of excitement, but in the patient grind of repetition. The rich understand that every choice is a vote for the future. Every hour of wasted time is a stolen fortune, and every moment of focus compounds like interest. They treat their attention like gold, guarded, protected, invested only where it multiplies. This is the secret that separates those who drift from those who rise. Discipline transforms time into a weapon. While others say someday, the disciplined say today. While others hope for motivation, the disciplined create momentum. They build systems around their goals so that success becomes inevitable. Not a matter of mood, but of structure. Understand this. You do not need to feel inspired to act. You must act, and inspiration will follow. Action is the spark. Discipline is the oxygen that keeps it alive. The undisciplined wait for the perfect moment. But the rich know the perfect moment is created, not found. Every morning they rise not to the sound of comfort, but to the call of purpose. They have trained their minds to obey their goals, the way a soldier obeys his command. And that is why they win, not because they are smarter, but because they are steadier, not because they never fall, but because they have mastered the art of rising without complaint. The truth is simple. You are not what you want. You are what you repeat. Your destiny is not determined by your dreams, but by your daily disciplines. Every successful person on earth, from the billionaire entrepreneur to the Olympic athlete, has lived by this sacred rhythm. Do what must be done whether you feel like it or not. Discipline without purpose is slavery, but discipline with vision, that is divine. It is the alignment of flesh and spirit, the merging of human effort with cosmic intention. The rich understand this balance. They do not wake up merely to work. They wake up to build something eternal. They see what others cannot, and because they see it, they submit to it. Their vision becomes their master, and discipline becomes their servant. Every dream demands a sacrifice. Every goal asks a price. And the currency is not money, it is effort, patience, repetition, and time. You must learn to pay in advance for the life you desire. The rich have mastered this truth, that life never pays you first. It tests your resolve, mocks your ambition, and only when you persist without proof does it finally open the gates. Think of Walt Disney, who was told countless times that his dreams were childish. Or Henry Ford, who was ridiculed for imagining an automobile for the common man. Or Colonel Sanders, rejected over 1,000 times before someone said yes. They were not guided by motivation. They were chained to their purpose. They were servants of their own vision. And through discipline, they turned rejection into fuel. Discipline is not about doing everything perfectly. It's about showing up relentlessly. It's about honoring your word even when no one is watching. It's about being loyal to your destiny. In a world that worships distraction and convenience, every time you resist temptation, you sharpen your edge. Every time you say no to weakness, you say yes to greatness. That is how legacies are built, one quiet, unseen act of discipline at a time. The poor chase comfort because they think happiness is rest, but the rich know happiness is progress. Comfort kills ambition, while challenge awakens it. Discipline is the art of finding peace inside the storm, to act when others hesitate, to move when others doubt. Because when your purpose burns bright enough, discipline stops feeling like sacrifice, it starts feeling like devotion. The mind of the rich is trained to think long-term. They plant trees under whose shade they may never sit. They build systems, not spurts. They measure success not by excitement, but by endurance. And while others get addicted to applause, they get addicted to evolution. Discipline is their daily ritual of worship, not to money, but to mastery. The truth is this: if you can control what you do each day, you can create anything you imagine. But if you cannot control yourself, you will forever be controlled by your environment. And that, my friend, is the difference between freedom and slavery, between the dreamer and the doer, between the poor and the truly rich. The greatest war is not fought on battlefields, but within the human mind. The war between what you want now and what you want most. The rich have simply learned how to win this war. Again and again, they have silenced the voice of weakness, the seductive whisper of later, the poison of just this once. They know that the price of greatness is paid in small installments, in the quiet moments when no one applauds. Discipline is built in those hidden seconds, when your body screams to quit and your spirit whispers, continue, when the bed feels warm and the dream feels distant, when excuses sound logical and results seem impossible. It is in that moment, that sacred crossroads between comfort and commitment, where the future is decided. You see, discipline is not glamorous. It's lonely, repetitive, often invisible. But that's what makes it powerful, because it weeds out the pretenders. The undisciplined are slaves to emotion. The disciplined are guided by intention. They've learned that feelings are visitors, not rulers. That success requires consistency even when motivation disappears. Thomas Edison once said, "Opportunity is missed by most people because it is dressed in overalls and looks like work." That is the truth of discipline. It is disguised as difficulty, but within it lies the seed of dominion. Every time you conquer a lazy thought, you carve a new path in your brain, a path of strength. Neuroscientists call it neuroplasticity. Napoleon Hill called it autosuggestion. The rich call it habit. Different words, same truth. You become what you consistently do. This is why the rich rise when others rest, why they read while others scroll, why they invest while others spend. They have trained their inner world to obey their outer vision. Their emotions serve their goals, not the other way around. and in this mastery, they discover peace. Because when your mind obeys your command, you no longer live as a victim of circumstances. You become a creator of reality. The undisciplined are leaves blown by every wind. The disciplined are roots unmoved by the storm. So ask yourself, are you living by choice or by chance? Do your habits serve your vision, or are they slowly killing it? Every rich person you admire once stood where you are, faced with the same temptations, the same fears, the same fatigue. But they chose differently. They chose discipline, and that single choice, repeated over a lifetime, became the foundation of everything they built. People think discipline is a cage. They see it as restriction, as a denial of pleasure. But the wise know, discipline is not the prison. It is the key. It is the only true form of freedom left in a world drowning in distraction. Because when you master yourself, nothing can master you. When you control your habits, no addiction can claim your soul. When you lead your mind, the world follows. Freedom is not doing whatever you want. Freedom is having the strength to do what is right, even when you don't feel like it. The undisciplined man is free only for a moment, but a slave for a lifetime. He's free to eat what he wants, but a prisoner of his health. Free to waste his time, but a captive of regret. Free to indulge every whim, but a servant of mediocrity. Discipline reverses that equation. It trades short-term comfort for long-term command. It gives you power, not over others, but over the one person who truly decides your fate, yourself. And that, more than money, is the real secret of the rich, because wealth is not measured in bank accounts. It's measured in self-control. A man who cannot govern his mind cannot govern his empire. A woman who cannot manage her habits cannot manage her destiny. The rich understand this truth. If you cannot trust yourself with small promises, the universe will never trust you with big ones. Every act of discipline is a declaration of strength. Every time you say, I will, and then you do, you are rewriting the code of your life. You are proving that you are not your impulses. You are not your fears. You are not your excuses. You are something higher, something forged in purpose, something built to lead. The disciplined mind is a weapon sharper than any blade. It can cut through confusion, distraction, and doubt. It can stay calm when chaos surrounds it. It can see opportunity where others see crisis. That is why the rich thrive in any economy, while the undisciplined crumble under pressure, because the disciplined have trained their spirits to adapt, evolve, and expand in every storm. Adaptability is not luck, it's a skill born from discipline. The disciplined don't panic when things fall apart. They rebuild. They don't complain when plans change. They adjust. They don't wait for perfect conditions. They create them. Because they've learned that control is not found in circumstances. It is earned through consistency. So the next time you feel trapped by your routine, understand this: your habits are not holding you back. They're holding you up. Discipline is not the enemy of freedom. It is the foundation of it. The rich don't escape structure, they worship it, because they know structure is the soil where success grows. Discipline without faith is machinery, but discipline with faith, that's magic. It's the quiet power that moves mountains, the invisible hand that turns belief into reality. Napoleon Hill called it definite purpose. It is the fusion of two forces, belief and action, that transforms an ordinary person into a legend. Faith is seeing the invisible. Discipline is working toward it until it becomes visible. The rich live inside this balance. They dream like artists but execute like soldiers. They imagine with the heart but operate with the hands. They understand that the universe rewards not the loudest wish, but the most consistent work. They do not pray for easy days. They pray for strength to endure the hard ones, because they know adversity is the crucible that refines greatness. When life throws storms at them, they do not run for shelter. They plant their feet deeper. They use pain as instruction. They turn doubt into data. They let failure carve wisdom into their bones. You see, success is not the absence of struggle. It is mastery through it. And discipline is the tool that shapes that mastery. Every rich soul has learned to love the grind. not because it's easy, but because it's sacred. The act of doing what must be done is its own kind of prayer, a ritual that honors the laws of growth and cause and effect. The poor ask, how long will it take? The rich ask, how far can I go? That single question changes everything. Because discipline is not a countdown. It's a lifestyle. It's not a sprint. It's an oath. The oath that says, I will keep showing up until destiny yields. Look at every monument in human history, every skyscraper, every symphony, every discovery. Behind each one stands a mind that refused to stop. Discipline turns the ordinary into the extraordinary by demanding repetition until mastery is born. Leonardo da Vinci painted, erased, and repainted the same lines for years. Beethoven composed entire masterpieces while deaf. Jobs spent months perfecting the corner of a computer no one would ever see. Why? Because discipline is the highest form of self-respect. It says, I care enough to give my best even when no one sees it. And that is why the disciplined are rich in ways that transcend money. They are rich in time, peace, power, and trust. Trust in themselves, trust in their process, trust in their destiny. For what greater fortune exists? The knowing that no matter what comes, you will not quit. There comes a point on every journey where discipline ceases to be an act and becomes your identity. When repetition transforms into revelation. When routine becomes ritual. When every morning, every task, every sacrifice feels less like obligation and more like destiny calling. The rich live in that frequency. They have turned their habits into holiness. Every small decision becomes an altar, where they worship consistency, integrity, and growth. They do not need to be pushed anymore. They are pulled by purpose, and purpose, when fused with discipline, creates an unstoppable current. You can feel it when you meet them. Their eyes don't wander. Their words carry weight. They move through the world with calm precision, because their chaos has already been conquered within. They have silenced the internal noise that keeps most people stuck, while others are ruled by circumstance. The disciplined are ruled by conviction. That conviction is forged through pain, through every rejection, every lonely night, every setback that whispers, quit. But they don't quit. They understand that the universe never denies you. It delays you until you are ready. Discipline is that readiness. It is the soul's way of proving to the universe, I am prepared to hold what I seek. You cannot ask for abundance if you cannot manage routine. You cannot command wealth if you cannot command yourself. The universe doesn't reward desire. It rewards proof. And discipline is the proof of your belief. Every time you act in alignment with your goals, you send a message into the unseen. I am serious. I am consistent. I am ready. Look back at the giants of history. Abraham Lincoln failed in business, lost elections, suffered tragedy after tragedy, but he never broke the chain of discipline. He read, studied, learned, wrote, every single day, even when it felt meaningless. And in that persistence, destiny found him. The same law governed Edison, Carnegie, Mandela, and Jobs. The same divine rhythm of preparation before recognition. They were faithful in private, long before they were celebrated in public, because that is the hidden truth. Success doesn't happen when the world applauds you. It happens when no one notices. Discipline is the evidence of faith unseen. It is how the invisible becomes visible. And the day you start treating discipline, not as a chore, but as a sacred dialogue with destiny, that is the day your life begins to shift. The undisciplined wait for miracles. The disciplined become them. They understand that the laws of creation respond to order, not chaos. To patience, not panic. To systems, not luck. And that is why their lives look miraculous. Not because they are favored, but because they are faithful. Discipline is not just a habit, it is a higher consciousness. It is awareness over impulse, wisdom over noise, eternity over now. When you become disciplined, you rise above the animal within. You cease being a slave to the senses. You reclaim your throne as the creator of your fate. That is the highest wealth a human can attain. Money comes and goes. Markets rise and fall. But the man or woman who has mastered themselves, they are uncheckable. They are richer than any empire could make them. For for their peace cannot be purchased, and their strength cannot be stolen. Every morning you wake up and choose discipline. You are declaring, "I am my own master." You are rewriting the laws that govern your life. You are separating from the mass, from the world that lives on reaction, impulse, and distraction. The masses seek pleasure. The masters seek purpose, and purpose rewards those who serve it daily, not those who visit it occasionally. The rich don't chase motivation. They build machinery. They have morning rituals that ground their focus. They have systems for learning, reflection, execution. They know that the mind, like a muscle, only strengthens when challenged. They feed their intellect with truth, their bodies with discipline, and their spirits with gratitude, because gratitude is the companion of discipline. Without it, effort feels heavy, but with it, every struggle becomes sacred. The rich are not bitter about their grind. They are grateful for it. They understand that the mountain they climb is shaping them into someone capable of standing at the summit. When you stop resisting the work and start respecting it, everything changes. You stop seeing discipline as a punishment and start seeing it as protection. Protection from regret, from decay, from lost potential. You realize that every repetition is a seed of greatness being planted in your soul. And though you may not see the harvest today, it is growing quietly, faithfully, invisibly, as all miracles do. There will be days when your faith trembles, when the path feels endless, when results mock your effort. But remember, the oak tree does not doubt its growth, because it cannot yet see its height. The rich hold that truth in their bones. They trust process over proof. They keep moving forward, for they know that consistency is destiny in disguise. And so they walk, not fast but firm, not loud but lasting. And in their quiet, disciplined steps, the universe finds its reflection.